The Toronto Brigantines team of tall ships, Playfair and Pathfinder, returned to the Port of Collingwood on Wednesday, August 8th. The 5-day stay marked the end of Course 4, 13 days exploring Georgian Bay. The arrival of the ships provides a unique opportunity to promote youth and recreation, showcase Collingwood's harbour and waterfront promenade, and provide members of the community a free, family-friendly activity at the waterfront. The Playfair was the first of the two ships to arrive in Collingwood Harbour. Aidan Bingham is the executive officer aboard Playfair. His connection with the tall ships began when his parents took him to the Toronto Boat Show when he was younger.
Basically, when I was maybe 10 years old, my parents went to the boat show in Toronto, and there Toronto Brigantine has a bit of a booth where they have flyers and whatnot. And at the time I was too young to go sailing. However, once I did turn 13, so the summer after I graduated elementary school, I went sailing as a trainee. And I came back for the winter program, and 4 or 5 years later, I've made it as far as I could go.
You're visiting Collingwood again. This is the second year in a row that we've had you here. This is great. I understand this is the fourth part of a Georgian Bay tour. Where have you been so far, and what have you seen?
Well, Playfair, the boat that I'm sailing with right now and the boat that I'm responsible for, we left Toronto at the beginning of the summer, and we headed across Lake Ontario to Kingston. And after Kingston, I had to go home for 2 weeks where I got my license with Transport Canada. After coming back on the ship in Sarnia, we sailed up Lake Huron and around the Bruce Peninsula, so we stopped in Tobermory for a while. And then that course with those trainees ended in Parry Sound. And from there, we headed north again, went to the North Channel and explored Killarney, some things like Powderhouse Bay, Bay Fin with the pool. At the end of it, that's a really cool spot, and it was one of our favorites. And then after some more playing around in the North Channel, our last stop was Little Current, and from there we made our way back down south Georgian Bay to Collingwood.
Aidan says participants of the program build confidence and upon completion find it easier to deal with day-to-day life situations.
So other than building character and confidence, I think kids who continue in this program, they become really passionate about their jobs, and it teaches them to take pride in their work. And for example, after talking to some of the trainees from one course this summer, they found it very easy to be themselves on board, and that they didn't feel limited by expectations of, like, say, their parents or their friends. They felt really in their own vibe, and everyone was having a good time with each other. These kids who had really just met, once they're thrown in this environment where they have to work together and live together and sleep together in the same room, they really become good friends and learn a lot about themselves and the people around them, how to interact, how to work as a team.
A question asked often of crew members is, how do you store the food with the limited room on board? And how do you cook the meals?
In 2010, that was my cooking year, so our officers usually do a team as cook and bosun, and bosun is the maintenance man and cook is the cook, of course, so they switch back and forth, and that's pretty much the same rank. With cooking, basically we get a food shipment from a grocery store in Mississauga that comes up on the bus with the trainees at the beginning of every course. Some of the troubles there are that we really need to get all the perishables stowed away quickly, and there's rationing of the food. Also with the watch system, there are 3 watches, so essentially the first watch, say watch starts at 6, so around dinner time. The first watch that will be going on at 6, they have to eat at 20 after 5, and then the watch that is neither on nor going on, they would eat at 22 the hour, and then the watch that comes off at 6 and is about to do cleanup, they eat at 6. So for the cook, that's 3 different servings, and he has to make sure that all the proportions are equal and that we have the right amount of food to make every meal that we need for sometimes up to 2 weeks.
John Achardy is spending his 5th summer aboard the tall ships.
Well, for my grade trip, instead of going to Quebec City, we went to sail on the Brigs for 10 days and took a course from Parry Sound all the way to Toronto.
John says there are some challenges sailing in the middle of Georgian Bay.
Well, it depends as you go up in the ranks. As a trainee, challenges are definitely seasickness and getting used to the rhythm of the boat. But then when you move up higher, it's definitely the stress of keeping everyone safe while underway at sea.
Teamwork is something that comes together quickly when the new crew sets sail.
Oh yeah, living in such close quarters, you really get to know each other really well. And if there's conflicts or anything like that, then it's really hard to work as a team. So one of the things that like is great about the boats is just like to run a ship, you need everyone working in the same rhythm, on the same pace, and on the same mindset. So if you don't have that, then the boat doesn't go anywhere.
What do you think some of the benefits are for people who sign up for this?
Oh, it builds confidence, character, work ethic, and also gets you in shape kind of too.
But it isn't all work. John says there is some time for fun too.
Going all to the beautiful places around Ontario, I really didn't know how beautiful Ontario was. So I got into the Brigs, because I was just from Toronto, and I just saw cities and stuff. And then when we went sailing in Georgian Bay, we got to see these peaks of the Canadian Shield and all the beautiful water and just wildlife and stuff like that. So it was really great. And then also underway, we have like water fights between the two boats sometimes. So it's kind of like our old style wartime ship maneuvering, trying to get the advantage windward and things like that.
And for John, his experiences have opened up new possibilities for the future.
Well, right now I've been thinking that I really want to go sailing on some bigger ships. Last summer, I was lucky enough to be sent on an exchange to Europe and sail on a 152-foot fully rigged ship. So before I went there, I wasn't really quite sure if I wanted to continue sailing after I was done with the Brigs. After high school, I thought I was just going to go to university. But yeah, it's really my passion. I love doing it. And there's so many old shanties about going around the Horn and how that's a really big thing for a sailor. So I really want to go around Cape Horn.
Toronto Brigantine is a charitable organization founded in 1962. The organization's founding tenets were the development of leadership, discipline, and citizenship in a maritime environment. They believe that exposure to the challenge of the seagoing lifestyle could benefit young people. The original vessel, STV Pathfinder, was commissioned in 1964, and TS Playfair joined the organization in 1973. This was the second consecutive year the two ships visited Collingwood Harbour.